recent former vice president of the United States, begging for donations so that he can qualify to get on the debate stage. And even as Mike Pence struggles to keep his campaign afloat, he still won't aggressively go after the Republican frontrunner, his former boss, who quite literally unleashed an angry mob at the Capitol on January 6, 2021, a crowd that was caught on camera chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." The former VP will not even go so far as to call what happened that day an insurrection. Joining me now to try to make it make sense is Michael Beschloss, NBC News presidential historian. There has never been anything like this. This time we're living in which a former vice president was almost the victim of a homicide at the hands of the president, at which and then he's running against him and still won't say it was an insurrection. I don't get it.
So, Joy, if you were vice president to a president who was perfectly cool with having you hanged on the 6th of January and actually told people Mike Pence deserves that fate, and put you in a state of being terrified with your wife and your daughter in the Capitol, hiding in the basement and other places, I know you well enough to know that perhaps the strongest thing you would say would not be like Mike Pence, "I was disappointed by President Trump that day." I think you would have said he tried to have me hanged and I want him out of office. So, and Mike Pence is not the exception, just as you're saying. This crowd of people is running against Donald Trump, but they're terrified of him. And they don't want to take the slightest risk. And the point I would make briefly is, the founders who designed this system, beginning with James Madison, the idea is that you would run for the Senate or run for governor, you'd run for president, you'd say what you wanted to do, and if you lost, you'd be like what John Kennedy said about himself in 1960. He said in Houston, September 1960, "If I should lose this election, I will return to my seat in the Senate, satisfied that I tried my best and was fairly judged." That's what the American tradition is. I mean, what's wrong with Nikki Haley? Is all she can do run for office? Is she trying to inflate her lecture fees? You've got a group of people who will not save us from the dangers of Donald Trump, will not save anyone. And this is not leadership, it's cowardice. And
it's not clear, because the thing is, inherent in running for president is saying that everyone but you should not be president, right? And that includes Donald Trump. You have one guy, what is his name, Burgum. I don't think anyone really even knows who he is. He's a billionaire. He is paying people $2 a pop, and he's paying for people to give him $1. That is getting him on the debate stage. He might be on and Mike Pence not make it. It doesn't make, or $20. He's paying $20 if you'll give him $1. And that's insane.
And Mike Pence does not even have that option because none of his donors are giving him money at all.
So what happens? I wonder, as you look at this field, there have been weak fields before. There was one time they said, what, the Seven Dwarfs? It was 1988. And you know, obviously, Grover Cleveland's here, whatever, couldn't have been that strong because he won again. But have you seen, as you look back, a field this week?
I have not, and particularly, I've not seen a field that does something that, to my mind, should be a disqualifier in American politics, and that is most of these people who are running, with the exception maybe of Asa Hutchinson or maybe Chris Christie, in private, they will say, Donald Trump is terrible and we've got to get rid of him, but I'm too terrified to say that in public. The whole idea of the system is that you say in public what you say in private. And I would say the vast majority of these people, they're squealing with cowardice, and that's not supposed to be the way it is.
The other thing that is unusual is that we have an actual attempted coup in the United States, and the person who promulgated it is now the most viable candidate in the Republican Party for president.
Something that you and I think I can speak for both of us, if we had been told 10 years ago that an incumbent president would wage a coup d'etat and insurrection, try to destroy our system of government to stay in power, maybe forever, we might think that people who would run against him in a primary campaign, like right now, would say maybe that was a bad idea, maybe that is disqualifying. They are not saying it. There's something wrong here that's deeply wrong.
You and I also both know that the parties change, right? What was a Republican and a Democrat 100 years ago, it's very different. What is the Republican Party now?
The Republican Party now is a Donald Trump cult, as you have said and as I have said. And the test of that is, you know, these people, after Donald Trump lost the election to Joe Biden in November of 2020, could have said, here, I'm getting off the Trump train. 6th of January, Trump did what no president has ever done before, tried to destroy our democracy with a coup to stay in office. They could have gotten off the train then. Most of these people did not, all these people who are running. And then a week after Joe Biden took office, now Speaker McCarthy could have said, gee, I like a lot of Donald Trump's programs, but...
In fact, he said it.
Yeah, he did at first.
Yeah.
But a coup d'etat, an insurrection, maybe a little deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Instead, 8 days after the inauguration, he goes down to Mar-a-Lago, poses next to Trump,